In this lesson, we'll talk about the main principles of behaviorism, cognitivism, and constructivism. We will also cover the concept of andragogy and the 6 principles of adult learning. While instructional systems design models are essentially tools that help instructional designers create effective courses, knowing how to apply learning theories to course design is equally important. There are 3 learning theories typically addressed within the scope of effective instructional design. These are theories in behaviorism, cognitivist, and constructivism. Each learning theory has its strengths and weaknesses. Therefore, to choose the theory that suits the needs of a specific course, you should take multiple aspects of learning into consideration, including their goals, learners, and situations. We will first take a look at behaviorism. Behaviorism is based on observable and measurable changes in behavior. It assumes that the learner's behavior is shaped through either positive or negative reinforcement. Both positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement increase the probability that the behavior will reoccur. Punishment, on the other hand, decreases the likelihood that the behavior will happen again. So, what role does behaviorism play in instructional design? The development of objectives is the main area where behaviorism affects instructional design. According to behaviorists, objectives indicate whether learners mastered the knowledge presented in the course. In other words, if the learner mastered the objectives, then their behavior changed and learning took place. The next theory is known as cognitivism. According to cognitivists, learning involves the reorganization of experiences. It's considered an active learning process. Cognitivism assumes that an existing knowledge structure is used to process new information. This theory believes that the information is received, stored, and retrieved. When cognitivists design their courses, they focus primarily on the learner. As opposed to behaviorists who focus mainly on learning objectives, cognitivists concentrate on making learning meaningful through using learners' background knowledge. Cognitivists also believe that it is easier to remember items mentioned at the beginning or end rather than somewhere in the middle. Therefore, instructional designers who follow this theory focus on presenting the must-know or the most important content both at the beginning and end of the course. The third theory that we'll discuss is called constructivism. Constructivists focus on how learners construct knowledge based on prior experience. They believe in experiential, self-directed learning. Therefore, instructional designers who follow this theory should understand what learners bring to the table in terms of prior knowledge and interests. To create truly beneficial training courses, you need to understand adult learning theories and methodologies. Andragogy, or adult learning, is an adult learning theory that describes assumptions about the learners. The concept of andragogy was pioneered by Malcolm Knowles, a theorist of adult education. He defined andragogy as the art and science of helping adults learn. Malcolm Knowles identified 6 principles of adult learning. Let's look at each one of them in detail. Adults are internally motivated. Typical adult learners are satisfied with such intrinsic motivators as promotions and bonuses. However, satisfying intrinsic motivators such as self-esteem, power, and achievement is equally important. As an instructional designer, you should create learning activities that nourish those intrinsic motivators by demonstrating how the new knowledge and skills would be beneficial for the job. Adults bring life experiences to new learning situations. Adults have more experience than young learners do. Most adult learners bring a lot of experience to the training and apply this background knowledge to the new learning that they acquire. Your training activities should reflect the actual work the learners perform and provide activities that allow learners to apply their prior knowledge and experience to the theoretical aspects of the training. Adults are goal-oriented. Adults must have a need for learning. If an employee is expected to have certain skills or knowledge, the level of interest in training will be higher than if the same skill is not required for successful job performance. Providing just-in-time training is very important for the success of the course. Adults are relevancy-oriented. Adults must know the reason for learning. They want to know the benefits of acquiring new knowledge and the cost of not acquiring it. For this exact reason, you should base your courses on the intended audience and include all objectives and goal statements in the lesson plans and activities as well as on real work experiences. Adults are practical. Adults have a task-centered orientation to learning. Most school-age children have a subject-centered orientation to learning and focus on the content just to pass the test. Most children are not interested in retaining the information they learned in class. The ultimate goal for most adult learners, on the other hand, is to retain as much information as possible from the training course. Therefore, adults seek task-centered training courses. If you satisfy this need and develop your courses around problem solving, then adult learners will most likely learn the content with the intention of actually applying it to the job. Your e-learning courses should allow learners to solve problems or perform tasks similar to those encountered on the job. This can be done through games, simulations, and various problem-solving activities. It's important to avoid information dumping and design activities that focus on practicing the information rather than simply memorizing it. Adults like to be respected. Adults like to be self-directing. In other words, adult learners need other people, such as management, to see that they're capable of taking responsibility for themselves. Incorporating search and discovery elements in training courses can address this need. I hope you're ready for your next exercise. Here it is. Think about how you will adhere to the 6 principles of adult learning in your emotional intelligence course. Again, there are many ways to make your courses successful. It all depends on your creativity, time, and budget.